Welcome to Hello Darling. Today my very special guest is Alex Winwood, professional boxer, former Olympian, and 2024 NAIDOC Sportsperson of the Year. Let's meet Alex. Hello Darling.
Hello, darling.
Welcome to my show. Alex, thank you so much for finding time.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for having me on the show. It's a very big honour and pleasure.
Thank you. And we have the absolute honor also to record at your current training place, yes? Big Rig Gym.
Yep.
House of many, many champions.
That it is.
Well, Alex, where do I start? I would like to ask you straight away what's your secret. But let's start maybe, how does it feel to be 2024 NAIDOC Sportsman of the Year?
That is a very true honour to be recognised by my peers and my culture, my people, not only just Noongar people, but Aboriginal and Indigenous Australians across the country. There was a lot of worthy candidates, and for me to actually become the recipient, it was something that I kind of dreamed about. I've heard of many friends getting awards like this, and not to receive any going straight up to the national one. It was a true honour. And then Anthony Mundine to reach out and say that he won it in 2003 was very, very special to me.
That's correct. Another icon.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations once again. Alex, you have been named the generational talent, and you are about to become the fastest Australian athlete with a world title, boxing title.
Yep.
Wow. Again, I'm so privileged to be able to have had this chat with you just while you're training for it. May I ask you, how are you preparing for this incredible 7th of September?
I'm preparing like I never have before. I've put everything into this camp. I haven't spared $1. I haven't spared an opportunity. We've went away 2 or 3 times overseas. We've travelled interstate multiple times. We've sourced the best training partners that we could across the world, not just Australia. And we've also brought in the likes of Danny Green. My coach, Angelo Hyder's got a wealth of knowledge, and a lot of other training coaches that have just helped give them 1%ers that have brought me so far in this last 12 to 16 weeks, because it's been a long training camp, and one that has had its hurdles in terms of this fight not even on the cards, and we're preparing for a different fight, and now we're here, and I've backed myself through and through over the past since January, so it's just been unreal, and I'm just can't wait for the next 2 weeks.
And it is unreal. And how does it feel to have Danny Green in your corner?
It's been very special. He's been in my corner for all of my professional fights, so it's only befitting that he's in there for my world title shot in my 5th professional fight. He's brought calm, he's brought experience, and he understands exactly what I'm going through.
Wow.
It's not a coach, it's not a different elite athlete from another sport that just understands elite athleticism. He understands what it's like for World Championship boxing and what it's like to go into them dark, deep places. So to have him there and just reassuring me that we're right, we're ready to go, it just gives me that belief a little bit more.
And he also trusted to give you Angelo. Yes?
Yes.
Pardon, as his long-standing trainer, iconic trainer.
Yep.
How is the training one-on-one with Angelo?
It's a father-son relationship, really. He's taken me in. I'm a little bit younger than his 2 daughters, and he's only got 2 daughters, so he says that, I'm the son he never had, and he's definitely played a big father role in my life. I pretty much have 2 father figures in boxing, and that was my amateur coach, and that's Angelo Hyder as well. So Brian Satori and Angelo Hyder. And to have a relationship with a trainer that goes beyond the ring is something where you know that your full trust and heart is in them and theirs is in you. So they're looking after your well-being as well.
Absolutely. And I heard Danny endorsing you on the media, and it couldn't be better and more, complimentary and from ex-world champion. Now, you touch on experience Danny Green, of course, as a former world champion, brings. How important are experience in your life so far? In addition to your training, of course. Because can you take me back, when was your professional debut as a professional boxing?
My professional debut was September in 2022.
Yes.
Just under 2 years ago.
Wow.
It doesn't.
I know, it doesn't sound real.
It's not
Yes.
far ago.
Yes.
And before we knew it, we were then competing. Actually, it was November.
Yes.
Because my next fight was meant to be 20th of December, which was 3 weeks after my professional debut in Dubai. So it's just came like a whirlwind. Before I knew it, I was in and out of the ring, to and from Queensland to New South Wales, training and fighting over the last year. And this year's kind of slowed down because we haven't had the fights, but we've got the one that matters the most. So it really has came just like lightning. It's just bang, and we're here.
Bang, and we're here. So if I was to ask you, what was your turning point in your career till now? Which one was the turning point?
I think there was many a times that I'd questioned being in the sport anymore. Boxing has broke my heart a lot of times. More than anything or any person in the world, I've dedicated my life to it over the past 12 years. So there's been times in the amateurs mostly that I just really didn't know whether I wanted to do it anymore. And I'd always just kind of get back on the horse and just say, just one more time. And through them trials and testaments that I've managed to come back. And after the Commonwealth 2022 Games, I had a controversial stoppage, and I've walked away from the amateurs on the only TKO loss or stoppage loss that I've ever had. And I didn't really know if the sport loved me as much as I loved the sport. And I put my trust in Angelo Hyder, and he said, well, mate, we make our own destiny. We can make a right from a wrong. And that's what we did. And I went into my first debut as a professional, and I fell in love with the sport again. And from there, we've just pretty much like a big bonfire, just raged with it. And we've went balls against the wall, and now we're here.
Beautiful. So how important are the relationships and the motivational support that you've got from your mentors is enormous, yes?
Oh, definitely so. Especially from an Aboriginal culture, we always look out for elders and people passing on,
That's right.
mentorship and guidance and leadership. And I found a lot of that in boxing and through boxing. So it kind of touches on both my sides, whether it's me being an elite athlete, my Indigenous heritage, et cetera, et cetera.
And it teaches, maybe you have to have an incredible discipline, of course, and dedication. And but it probably enforces these values in you through the trainings. And yes?
Yeah, definitely so.
May I ask you, what your family? Yes, you come from a family of how many?
I am one of 8, and half of them are my half siblings, but I don't look at them like that. They're my blood through and through. So we all share the last name. We've grown up in the same household. We share the same meals. So I am the second youngest out of all my siblings, and they've all kind of looked after me in one way or another, and now I feel like I'm trying to look after some of them. It's good, and it's just beautiful to have such a big family. They've all got kids in that, and I live vicariously through my nieces and nephews.
And your mum? Are you close to your mum? I believe you're close to your mum.
Yeah, I'm very close with
Is she always worrying about you as a mum, or is she supporting you, knowing how much love you put into it? That's your life now.
Yeah, she understands. She's quite tough. She's a very strong lady. And she doesn't, she's obviously seen me come through the last 12 years, and and take this sport on as much as possible. So she gives me words of encouragement. She tells me, get that fire in your stomach. She tries to G me up and really give me that energy and that burst forward. She doesn't like me sitting around and trying to sob or anything. So, she doesn't shy away from it.
Great. Sounds like a great lady. Huh?
Yeah.
And you married. We have to disappoint all the female viewers now.
Yeah.
Yes? How long have you been married? Tell me about your wife.
I've been married since January this year.
Yes.
We got married on the 13th of January, which was our 9th anniversary being together. So,
13, it's lucky number.
yeah, that
Yes.
is. So me and her met through boxing. She used to train at a gym down in Waikiki.
Yes.
They, through the amateurs, would put the boxing ring up,
Wow.
their gym. So
Yeah.
that's how I met her. She didn't actually participate in fighting, but she would train there. And then she would come set the boxing ring up for the amateur fights, and that's how we first met. A couple of years after meeting, we got together and at the age of 17, didn't think much of it. Neither did she. She was 15 at the time. And
Wow.
then, year by year, we realised, we've got something very special here. And, almost 10 years later, we're still together, and it's very surprising. And I couldn't have done it without her.
Beautiful. Congratulations. So it was a beautiful love relationship that grew up with the time.
Yes, exactly.
Not a
right.
crazy love on the first sight.
Yeah. People always ask us for relationship advice, and we go, we don't know. We just kind of got together as kids and it all worked out. So we're the last people to ask.
You were right people for each other, and you did right things to maintain it and develop it.
Exactly right. We've grown a lot together, and we've learned a lot from one another. And, we've just kind of shared in life over almost the last 10 years. So it's been very beautiful.
Beautiful. What's your favorite way to spend time?
Just relaxing. I don't do
Yeah.
much outside of
You
training.
don't push yourself outside your zone?
No, not really. I go for a lot of country drives.
Yes.
Like through the bush, and me and my wife will go pretty much where we live in Tweed Heads, New South Wales. We'll drive down the coast and go out to the bush, do some bushwalks, things like that. That's kind of how we fill in our weekend, and watch a lot of movies and a lot of Big Bang Theory.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
I need to ask you your view on the transgender athletes competing in female-orientated sport.
Yeah.
What's your view on it? The world seems so confused and confusing about it.
Yeah, I'm confused just as much as any person. I think in most other sports, it's unfair, but it's not dangerous.
Yeah.
Where in combat sports, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. I think that there needs to be a very big microscope put on this conversation, and looking towards the health and safety of female athletes with transgender athletes.
Yes.
I don't want to seclude them or anything, but I don't think that fairness or safety is being put at the forefront of this conversation.
So would transgender Olympics be an answer for it in the future? Just the world has to find some kind of a resolution.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a very, very complex matter in today's world.
Yeah, it's a topic that I'm not qualified to talk on.
Yes. No, I just ask for a general view because I'm curious myself.
Yeah.
Since it seems there is some more questions than answers.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a lot of questions to ask, because at the end of the day, the Olympics needs to be a fair playing field for everything and
Yes.
everyone as well. That's including our transgender athletes as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who were your role models when you were a very young man? You're still a very young man, before you became professional boxer. Who were your role models? Who were your people you looked up to?
Mainly friends and family, really.
Yes.
I didn't get into sports until I was about 11 years old, and that's when I got into AFL rules. And I just loved footy from then up until 16, and that's when 15 years old I got into boxing and had to break my heart and walk away from footy and pursue boxing. But Boxing wasn't something that just kind of, that I'd been following for years. It was just something I fell into. And then through the times, I got to learn about boxers and the history of Aboriginals and Australians in boxing and what we've done as a nation. So I guess over my past 12 years in the sport, I've learned that we've had many great champions and people now I idolise. But growing up, there was more so footy players, the Ben Cousins, your Chris Judds, like, yeah.
Yes, and the names go on.
Yeah.
Alex, are you ready for a big fame?
I'm ready to become a world champion. I don't know about the fame part of it. I'm a very introverted person. I'm not very loud. I'm not very outgoing. I have a lot of extrovert friends, and I'll leave that all to them. And I just like being around them, but I'm not the person to be out there and put myself out there.
But as we know, fame comes with a price.
It does. It really does. So I think at my age, 27 years, I can appreciate, being recognised and people being happy to see you and things like that. So I think if I was a bit younger, I would probably struggle with it a bit more in terms of being out in public and people asking for photos, etc. So I think right now I would be able to handle it, yes.
Good, it's coming.
Yeah.
Alex, may I ask you, what would you tell young viewers watching us today, watching now and being, dreamers themselves? Many don't have the confidence to go out and reach for what they think they could be good in. What would be your advice to young people and people watching us all together?
I think the thing that I've learned over the time is the thing that scares you the most is the thing that will make you grow the most. Like, that is where I have, as a human, as a person, as an athlete, have always found myself becoming better overall, is when I was too scared to do something and I finally got the courage to do it. Because the coward and the courageous person feel the same emotions. It's about what you do with that. And I've learnt to tackle it, head it face on, and I've always come out a better person.
Wonderful. Because fear is only in our mind.
Exactly
Fear
right.
doesn't exist. If we ask somebody what size, what color, what gender, what age is fear, non-existing. We created ourselves. I made a joke. I say fear is a little bit like cholesterol. There is a good fear that warns us from bad things that could happen, and there is the bad fear that enters from behind and tries to stop us. Talking about good fear and gut feeling. We think as a woman we've got the gut feeling, we've got the sixth sense. How are you traveling with your gut feeling? Do you acknowledge, do you listen to it? Yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
All the time I have. I think it's actually in our culture as an Aboriginal person.
Yes.
Yeah, that we tend to pick up on a lot more gut feelings, spiritual feelings.
Yes.
And be very aware of what's going on around us and how we're feeling about certain situations.
Yes.
Not trying to tempt fate.
Beautiful. At schools, as a curriculum, as a part of curriculum, having boxing, professional boxing, what do you think? And I'm also thinking as a woman with what's going on, maybe leading up to self-defense, courses to stop. Well, what do you think? What's your view on it?
I think it needs to be introduced in primary schools. I think it's taught me so many valuable lessons, being respectable, listening to instructions, and also just integrity. It's such a good thing to, especially whenever you see a good boxer, they've always been a rascal and done the wrong thing, and it's really straightened them out. It's really made them a genuine, respectable person in the community. So I think if you can bring that to kids at a young age, that there will be less bullying, there will be less violence, people understand what's going on.
So can we fight for it, Alex? After your next win, can we start proposing this kind of additional
Yes, definitely. I'd love to speak to state governments and school boards and things like that to introduce these kind of programs. I think that it needs to be done sooner rather than later.
Yes, absolutely. Not too early to start making young generation going into being better person, yes?
Exactly right.
Talking better person, Alex, if you were to show me the basic first move, what would it be?
It would probably be putting our hands up, and we're going to turn our wrist over. This is how we throw a jab, and we throw a right hand, and making sure when we're turning over that we're finishing with the top knuckle facing up. And this is our simple straight punches. And one hand's always at home and the other one's punching. So
How
we're
is
protecting
it
us.
if you fight somebody that you like?
I never go in with ill feelings of them. I don't go in there and go, I hate this person.
But
now.
what if you really like them and you're
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, it's a little. We always have. I've fought many of my friends. We've had laughs afterwards or whatever. But when we're in there, we're competitive at nature. So it's like if you was playing your brother in basketball or something, you do not want to lose.
Yes.
And then afterwards, you get that bragging right, and you can have fun and joke about and things like that. So, yeah, it's all in good nature.
Now, if I was to ask you one more time, your recipe for success and your recipe for life.
Oh, I think always have a go and never stop from trying. I truly believe that the only time that you'll fail is when you stop trying. If you fail once, that's okay. You can continue to keep going, and it's who can endure the most that will come out on top. You know, you might not be the best footballer at 14 years, might not be the best football player at 15, but at 16, you've outlasted the kids that just thought that was too good, and now they're there behind you. And that's pretty much the story of me. I stayed in there longer than everyone else, and I've done the reps over and over again that they just weren't willing to put in these years. And that's why I've come out on top.
Beautiful. And Alex, if I was to give you now a magic wand, obviously, metaphorically speaking.
Yep.
And you have one wish for yourself and one wish for the world. What would be your magic wand wish for the world?
It's a very big question, actually. Very good. My one wish, preferably for the world, is to see more kindness in it. I think we're at a funny stage in life, and with chaos going on around the world, which there always will be, but a little bit more peace and kindness would go a long way.
And for yourself, I think it's a rhetoric question.
Yeah, and for myself, if I could wave a magic wand, probably have the ultimate gaming setup that I could ever have. And yeah.
And be the fastest man in the world.
I don't need to dream about that or wish for that. It's going to happen.
It's happened. Alex, may I ask you for the last big favor? Could you sign these gloves?
If you have 100 on you.
Yes.
Nah, joking. Yes, not a problem.
Could you sign for our fans and beautiful, thank you so much, memory of our today.
Yep.
And I think we need to sign both, yes?
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. And this one?
Yep.
Thank you so much, Alex.
Not a problem.
And
Thank
I have one thing to say, the winner takes it all.
Exactly right.
Thanks once again. We're looking forward to your next huge achievements.
Yeah, we'll be the fastest Australian world champion in 2 weeks'
World
time.
champion in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.